So I did do the request. They emailed me back. He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital.
Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together.
Yahoo just publicly asked for Charlie Kirk's autopsy to never be revealed. Now, I'm not really sure why he would want to do this, guys. Like, probably no reason. He probably just doesn't want people to see, like, something maybe only his family can see, right, guys?
To have seen the autopsy report, to have seen the different evidence portions that have been collected, I trust our team.
Did Erika Kirk rush to have Charlie Kirk's body cremated before any medical examination could even happen? That question is getting louder by the day. Erika was already caught lying more than once about Charlie's post-incident medical review. She repeatedly claimed that she personally read the report, saying it as if the findings were final and unquestionable. But then a dispatch audio clip from the day of Charlie's fatal shooting leaked online, and it clearly revealed that no full autopsy was ever performed. That changed everything very quickly. Now there is a new bombshell claim stating that Erika had Charlie cremated, even though people close to him say he was strongly against that choice. And it gets even messier. One inside source claims Erika did not even speak to Charlie's parents before making that decision. No warning, no discussion, nothing. First, the scene was cleared almost immediately. No bullet was ever recovered. Then video evidence surfaced, and critics argue there is simply no clear proof that Charlie was struck by a .30-06 caliber round. On top of all that, Erika's story about the medical examination keeps falling apart. So if there was nothing to hide, why claim that a full autopsy happened when it apparently did not? Why make that claim at all? And wait until you hear what Erika was reportedly doing the very day Charlie was fatally shot. Because that is when the timeline starts to look really suspicious.
Even more once he was assassinated.
It has now been over 5 months since Charlie Kirk's fatal shooting, and people are still asking the same basic question: what actually happened to his body? No one can clearly say where he was laid to rest, and that silence is making many people uneasy. Now, to be fair, keeping a burial location private is not unusual after a high-profile death. Many families choose privacy to avoid chaos, and that alone would not normally raise eyebrows. But here is where things start to feel different. When you are talking about Erika Kirk, who has already been caught in multiple lies about what happened that day, including conflicting stories about Charlie's post-incident medical review, that privacy no longer feels normal. It starts to feel calculated. Back in December, during a CBS town hall interview, Erika confidently said she personally read the autopsy report and found nothing suspicious. She said it directly, as if the case had already been closed.
You believe that Tyler Robinson, your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all.
Now here is the twist. A leaked dispatch audio recording from September 10th tells a completely different story. In that recording, a man can clearly be heard stating that Charlie did not undergo a full autopsy and that the death certificate was simply signed by the hospital doctor. No full examination. No detailed breakdown. Just paperwork completed and the case closed.
So I did do the request. They emailed me back. He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital.
Oh, okay. Can you just do a field post documenting that?
I'm sorry, 10-9?
Can you just add a step to the case documenting that there was no autopsy?
And 287 off the clear hospital.
And let's be honest for a moment. In a high-profile fatal shooting, a complete medical review would not just make sense, it would almost be guaranteed. That is standard procedure in cases this serious. So how can someone claim to have read a report that, according to leaked audio, may have never even existed? That is the part people cannot ignore. Now let's assume for a moment that the dispatch audio was wrong and that Charlie actually did receive a full medical examination. Erika says she saw the final report herself. If that is true, wouldn't it make sense to simply release the report and shut down all the rumors and conspiracy theories once and for all? That would clear the air quickly. Yet here we are almost 6 months later, and this so-called autopsy report still has not been made public. That silence is loud. And that is not the only missing piece. There has also been no detailed ballistics report clearly connecting the recovered rifle to the fatal injury. That is a major detail in a case like this. We will circle back to the ballistics angle in a moment, because that part raises its own serious questions. First, let's talk about the new bombshell claim that Erika had Charlie cremated almost immediately. From the beginning, the speed at which his body was returned felt rushed to many observers. Charlie was taken to Timpanogos Regional Hospital, where doctors sadly were unable to save him after the incident.
Reasons unknown. What about Timpanogos Regional Hospital, the hospital where Charlie Kirk was declared dead? Well, there's pretty much no interest in Timpanogos Regional Hospital in the state of Israel, because why would there be? Except this spike that happened about a month before Charlie Kirk's death. That is very...
Then, less than 24 hours later, Charlie Kirk's casket was flown from Utah to Arizona on Air Force Two, with J.D. Vance and Usha Vance accompanying Erika Kirk. That turnaround was incredibly fast.
Erika Kirk, the blonde right there, with the sunglasses coming off the plane. Behind her are the Vances right there. The second lady and the vice president behind. That is Air Force, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
I could not see from our image if the flag was on that casket.
Here's why people are raising eyebrows. Full medical examinations, even preliminary ones, usually take time. In cases involving shootings or other high-profile violent incidents, the process is typically thorough and carefully documented. Investigators normally take extra time to record injuries and gather forensic evidence. So when everything moves at lightning speed like that, people start asking questions, and those questions are not going away. If a full medical examination really happened, when exactly was it done? That is the question nobody seems able to answer. A proper forensic exam in a high-profile shooting is not a quick in-and-out process. It usually involves detailed documentation, careful examination of wounds, toxicology testing, and the collection of physical evidence. That takes time, sometimes days. So how could all of that have supposedly happened within such an incredibly tight window? And here is where the cremation claim makes everything even more intense. If Charlie Kirk was cremated almost immediately, as sources are now alleging, that would permanently remove any chance of a second independent examination. Once a body is cremated, there is no going back. No retesting. No outside review. Nothing. That is final. For many people watching this unfold, that timing feels like more than just fast. It feels strategic. First came the questions about the scene. Then confusion about whether a full medical review even took place. Now claims of rapid cremation. Each piece alone might not seem explosive, but when stacked together, it paints a picture that has critics talking non-stop. And the biggest question still hangs in the air. If everything was handled by the book, with nothing unusual and nothing to hide, why does every step of this timeline feel rushed and tightly controlled? That is what has people digging deeper and refusing to let this story fade away. So the speed of that transport raises serious questions. If Charlie's body was moved that quickly, it could mean the medical examination was rushed through at record speed, or that it never happened at all. In most investigations involving violent loss of life, federal authorities or the medical examiner typically want the body to remain on site longer. Every forensic step is carefully documented. Every detail matters. That is standard procedure. And when it comes to major public incidents, multiple agencies often coordinate for days. They document the scene, collect evidence, and conduct thorough examinations. That is not something that typically gets wrapped up overnight. So why was Charlie Kirk's body moved so quickly? Why did J.D. Vance personally escort it? And why did the entire sequence of events appear so organized, almost as if it had been planned ahead of time? Those questions are not small. But the speculation does not stop there. Some insiders are now alleging that Erika Kirk ordered Charlie to be cremated immediately. That claim alone has people talking non-stop. On top of that, online users have been dissecting an Instagram video Erika posted. Some are questioning whether the hands shown in that video even looked natural. They pointed out that the color seemed off, the position of the hands looked unusual, and, most notably, there was no visible wedding band on Charlie's finger. That detail in particular has fueled intense debate across social media. Now, let's be clear, online speculation does not equal proof. But when small details start stacking up, people are going to talk. The missing ring stood out to many viewers right away. For a married man known to always wear his wedding band, that detail felt strange. Some users suggested the lighting could have distorted the image. Others said the camera angle might have hidden it. Still, the questions kept rolling in.
May not know about how a decedent is positioned in the casket. The head is tilted 15 degrees to the right, meaning that the nose should line up with the right big toe. Traditionally, hands are placed with left or right to show a wedding band that they're right over.
Then there is the bigger issue. If cremation really happened immediately, that would shut the door on any future independent forensic review. No second examination. No re-examination. No outside expert taking another look. That final step makes many people uneasy, especially in a case already surrounded by confusion. In high-profile deaths, transparency usually calms the noise. Silence tends to make it louder. And let's not ignore the timing of everything. The quick hospital transfer. The fast flight out of state. The reported cremation decision. Each move might have a simple explanation on its own, but when you line them up back to back, it can feel rushed, almost too smooth. That is why critics keep asking whether this was simply crisis management moving quickly, or something more calculated. At the end of the day, none of these claims have been officially confirmed by investigators. But the lack of clear documentation, combined with past conflicting statements, keeps the public locked in. And until solid records are presented, the speculation is unlikely to slow down anytime soon. So when you stack all of that on top of the other inconsistencies, it begins to feel less like slow-moving bureaucracy and more like someone trying to quietly brush questions aside. And then things get even stranger when you look at the official ballistics claims, because some critics say they simply do not add up. Several firearms experts have publicly argued that the FBI's version of events does not make sense from a technical standpoint. Recently, Candace Owens released new footage from a camera positioned behind Charlie Kirk at the moment he was struck. In that clip, the back of his neck is clearly visible at the point of impact. According to those reviewing the footage, there is no visible exit wound and no obvious external damage. That is where the controversy explodes. The FBI has stated that Charlie Kirk was struck from roughly 200 yards away with a .30-06 rifle. Critics argue that a round with that kind of power would normally create significant visible trauma, especially at that distance.
We have there, that's Charlie's necklace that's hanging. There's no blood on Charlie. There was absolutely no blood on Charlie. Not only did the bullet not go through, it didn't even cause any sort of destruction. And I follow that video until he goes down. There's nothing that we would expect to see from a 30-06. And again,
multiple firearms analysts have recreated similar scenarios and claimed that a .30-06 round fired from that range would likely pass straight through soft tissue. That is their position. So now skeptics are asking a blunt question. How could a round known for its heavy force, one capable of damaging solid materials under certain conditions, strike a human neck and not produce the kind of impact they would normally expect? That gap is fueling the debate, and it is one reason this case continues to spark heated arguments across the board. And this is where the discussion really takes off. Supporters of the official report say ballistic outcomes can vary depending on angle, distance, bullet type, and what the projectile hits upon impact. They argue that real-world scenarios do not always match clean laboratory demonstrations. That is true in many cases. But critics are not backing down. They point out that in a case this high-profile, the public usually expects detailed forensic transparency. Where is the full ballistic breakdown? Where are the trajectory diagrams? Where is the step-by-step explanation showing exactly how the bullet behaved? Those are the documents people want to see. Instead, what the public mostly has are summaries and statements. For some observers, that simply is not enough. When you combine disputed ballistics, confusion over the medical examination, the rapid transport of the body, and the cremation allegations, it creates a storm of doubt. Each issue feeds into the next. Each unanswered question adds more pressure. At the same time, it is important to remember that online analysis is not the same as an official forensic review. Video angles can be misleading. Lighting can hide important details, and without access to medical records or physical evidence, outside analysts are working with limited material. Still, the calls for clarity are getting louder. And until comprehensive reports are fully addressed, this case is likely to remain under a microscope. Now think back to when the so-called Superman neck story started circulating. The claim was that Charlie Kirk somehow had a neck strong enough to stop a bullet. A Turning Point USA spokesman, Andrew Colvett, said that comment came from the surgeon who tried to save Charlie. That was the explanation presented publicly. But here is where the story twists again. According to Candace Owens, that Superman remark did not come from the surgeon at all. She claims it actually came from Erika Kirk herself.
He was the one who issued that tweet and quoted the surgeon. I then told you that the surgeon never said that. That was not a quote from the surgeon. What I didn't tell you was that according to my source, which I trust very much, the person that was on that phone that said that quote was actually Erika.
If that is true, then why was that story put out there in the first place? Who thought it was a good idea to frame a serious ballistic question with a superhero comparison? That move alone raised eyebrows. Critics are now asking who benefited from that narrative. Was it meant to simplify a complex medical explanation, or distract people from digging deeper into the forensic details? That is the uncomfortable part. Once you start pulling on that thread, more questions appear quickly. And it does not stop there. Skeptics also point to what they describe as delayed reactions at the scene, an unusually small amount of visible blood in the available footage, and what they call unusual first steps taken by Charlie Kirk's security team. They argue those details do not match what they would normally expect from a severe gunshot injury. Whether those concerns hold weight or not, they are fueling intense debate around the official version of events. When people analyze the footage frame by frame, they focus heavily on timing. They ask how long it took for anyone to react. They question how quickly security moved in. They study body language, positioning, and even facial expressions. Every second is dissected online like a slow-motion replay in a championship game. Some critics argue that in a real-life emergency involving a high-powered rifle, chaos usually erupts instantly, screaming, rapid movement, immediate lockdown. Instead, they claim the reaction appeared delayed or unusually controlled. That observation has been repeated again and again across forums and video breakdowns. Then there is the issue of visible blood in the publicly available footage. Medical professionals often explain that blood loss can vary widely depending on the wound and internal damage. That is a fair point. But skeptics counter that a neck injury from a powerful rifle would normally produce dramatic external signs. They argue the visuals do not match that expectation. That clash of opinions keeps the argument alive. Security behavior has also been questioned. Why were certain protocols followed while others appeared slow to activate? Were agents reacting to confusion? Or was there miscommunication in those first critical seconds? These are the kinds of details people latch onto when trust begins to crack. None of these claims have been officially validated as proof of wrongdoing. But when every visual detail gets debated and every statement is compared against leaked audio and conflicting timelines, the story refuses to settle. And until clear, detailed documentation directly answers these points, the controversy is unlikely to fade anytime soon. So when critics lay all of this out side by side, they argue it does not look random. They say it feels coordinated. To them, the official story is not just shaky by accident, it appears managed. They believe the public is being pushed to doubt what they see with their own eyes and simply accept whatever explanation is presented. That is the accusation circulating right now. Erika Kirk has already faced scrutiny over past statements, from details about her personal history to conflicting comments about Charlie Kirk's medical examination. Because of that, skeptics are asking why her version should automatically outweigh the unanswered questions still hanging in the air. They say trust has to be earned, not demanded. At this point, critics argue there is no way to know what other details may have slipped by unnoticed. And if people stop questioning, they fear the narrative becomes permanent, whether it makes sense or not. That is why this conversation is not slowing down anytime soon. If you think these questions deserve answers, hit like, subscribe, share this video, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. And I will see you in the next one.